Going on, Nate, Ashley, Hannah. We got Kevin in here. Hope everybody's doing great. Had a great week this week. If not, tomorrow is a fresh start. We can get going with a better week, hopefully. Let me know if you guys can access the chat. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from tonight. Just drop your city. That way I can kind of get a gauge. Ashley says test. Test, test. Let me know where you guys are joining in from. We got Greenville, South Carolina. Hannah, welcome to your first group call. This one will be quick. Kev says Nashville. No, I got three Nashville people in here. It's good to see some hometown people. So we'll be utilizing the chat if this is your first one. Just use the chat for conversation. That way we're not all talking over each other. But going to be a quick call tonight. Just want to touch base with you guys. Everyone voted in the poll earlier in the week on the topics that I put out. I just kind of put some topics that are kind of fresh on my mind and let you guys vote, see if it's anything that you may find value in. And it was how to attract clients without doing cold outreach. So going to touch on that a little bit tonight, and then kind of just share some things that is working for me in my freelance business, content wise, and yeah, just go from there, and then open it up for Q&A. But you might be sitting there wondering, how do I attract clients without doing a shit ton of cold outreach, right? Like, you mean I don't have to send DMs every single day like you're always preaching, Rippy? No, you need to still be doing your outreach and stuff. Like, it's I'm not saying shy away from that and get completely away from doing outreach, because that is very important. I did outreach for like 5 to 6 years consecutively every single day. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I missed some days, but I was doing outreach, and it got me to a point where I built up a personal brand enough to where people were coming to me for work, and I didn't have to go to them. And you guys can do the same. It just takes consistency. Some of the things that I talk on tonight might, if you've been in a bunch of the other live calls, you might say you sound like a broken record. It's because I'm giving y'all a system that works, and it's proven to work. It works for me. It works for a ton of other creators. You just have to stay consistent with it. If it doesn't, work on the first go at it, and you don't get clients from your first kind of post or outbound message, then it doesn't mean it doesn't work. You just have to stay consistent at it. This is stuff that I've been doing. I mean, I've been putting out content consistently for 6 to 7 years, but this method that I've been doing for the last like year or so, and it's just consistently got me clients coming in to where I'm not having to outreach. So if you can make sure the microphone's muted, I think I can do that on school. There we go. I can do that. I was doing Google Drive, or not Google Drive, Google Meet for so long, and I couldn't figure out how to mute people manually. I had to wait for them to mute their mics. But we're going to jump into it, guys. This is all about content. This is building a content funnel that attracts clients to you, to where you don't have to go out to them. You have to create content for your ideal client. So if you're trying to, reach music artists, for instance, then you don't need to be posting content that can confuse music artists. So a lot of the time for me, I won't even post my, finished work, my deliverable that I'm sending to the client, right? I'm posting behind the scenes. I'm sharing, a client testimonial, whether it's me and a client that I'm shooting for mic'd up and we're just having fun on shoot. I'm creating that approach to my future potential client, that breaking that barrier, and one, showing them what it's like to work with me on set, and two, that I'm personable, and three, that I'm a real human being, and that I'm out here in action doing this with other music artists, and I can do this with you as well. A great example of that would be, if you haven't seen my most recent post I posted a couple hours ago. It was a behind the scenes clip of a music video that I recently shot, and then it went transitioned into the actual music video itself. But that alone isn't gonna bring you in clients. It might be visually appealing, and I'll show it to you guys real quick. That way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It might be visually appealing, but it's not necessarily inviting in who you're trying to reach. So watch this. We'll watch it through. Really just watch the first few seconds of it. So what I like to do with my content that brings in tons of clients to me every single week, every single month, is I really focus in on the on-screen text, and that's just another way that you can hook people in, right? There's multiple ways, visually, verbally, and on-screen text, which kind of plays into visually too, but it's a little bit more of a psychological element that goes into it. People's attention span is so short; we're constantly scrolling. People just like you know, and myself too. After we get off this call, what are we all going to do at some point tonight? We're going to scroll, and what gets us to stop on these videos? You know, think of yourself as a consumer. What gets you to stop and watch the video, consume that piece of content? It's visually the hook. It's the on-screen text, which I'm about to get into, and that's what I really focused in on this video. So I'm gonna play the video for you guys, and then I'll kind of break it down. This is Dave. And Clay, you might recognize this. My boy Clay in here was at the shoot with me, so it's this clip of me filming. I use Snapchat text feature right here because that's always trending. It catches people's eye because, you know, I don't know why. We all grew up using Snapchat. It's a popular app that catches people's attention right there off the rip. So that's a hook in itself. And then up here on the top, I have There's No Way This Country Boy just remixed Chain Hang Low, because that was the song that it was a remix to that song. And so I tied it into that element of people who might have, you know, really enjoyed that song back in the day. And then I said, there's no way this country boy. So people know I work with music artists, but then all of us, right off the rip, it's like, okay, this is for a country artist. You see us recording a video. There's so many different visual elements in the screen if you or on this post. One, visually the video itself. Two, the on-screen text where it says there's no way this country boy just remixed Chain Hang Low. And then three, the Snapchat text that says these country MFers got me and bro out here filming a music video for a Chain Hang Low remix. But why does it kind of slap though? So there's multiple elements right off the jump that brings people in, that makes people stop scrolling. That's just one way, but that doesn't complete the whole puzzle, right? That's just a piece of it. That's getting attention on you as a creative. And this is for I'm just talking for me and the music industry, right? If you're shooting other niches, hospitality, real estate, whatever, think about it how you can implement that for yourself. I'm showing you guys how it's working for me, and hopefully you can take from that. This first part is just a piece of it, though. It's just the elements. So we got one element, two, three, and then you can kind of hear the song in the background too, which could be a fourth one as well. And then it goes into the actual music video. So it's showing all the behind the scenes that can draw people in for the first, you know, 3 to 5 seconds. That's all it takes to hook people in and keep them watching your video. It doesn't mean that it's going to convert, but you have to be able to capture their attention first before you can convert them into clients or even start a conversation. And before you even get to the point of clients, you have to start a conversation. The main goal here is to capture people's attention, capture your ideal client's attention by creating organic content. That's all this is: organic content, no ads or anything. And getting that attention. And once you have their attention, turning that attention into retention. And that means if they go past the first 3 to 5 seconds of the video, most times they're going to watch it at least 75% of the way through, if not 100. So that's the first piece of the puzzle right there, is getting the attention in. So say a music artist client or potential client sees this and wants to work with me. I didn't do it on this specific post, but you'll notice in a lot of my posts, um, I end it with a call to action. And that call to action may be to comment, you know, tour or comment video if you're looking for content. So this is drawing the people in. It's bringing their attention to me. It's like, oh, okay, Rippy's out here. He's shooting a music video. I'm in the market for a music video, but how do I book them? Well, if this was set up properly, and I can show you guys one of those, and I know I showed it in my last call, I believe. Let me see. Talk about hooks right here. Any other way to say this, but I don't really know any other way to say this, but I'm quitting videography. Well, not entirely. Hook in itself right there, I had on-screen text, but that wasn't the point of this one. If you notice at the bottom, it says comment or DM, let's work, and I'll send you more info on how we can get the ball rolling. So if a music artist sees this and they want to, they want to book with me or they want to see what my prices are, I never put my prices out publicly because that just, it's weird with competition with others, and people sometimes can think they can talk you down. They know what you charge automatically going into it, so it's best in my experience not to put your prices out there. So what happens here is if they comment or DM let's work, then I have something set up, and that's, I'll touch on that at the end. It's another piece to the puzzle. Try to see all of this coming together, from the start of the content, from creating that and structuring it to target your ideal client and get in front of their eyes and grab their attention. Kind of try to piece how all of this can come together to bring you in, leads all the time where you're not having to go out and start these conversations with these people. So we got creating the content, that's targeting the ideal person, using the on-screen text that is, either mentioning the specific person that you're trying to reach, or maybe it's mentioning in some way, shape, or form the offer that you're providing. Whether it mentions a music video or short form content, or there's so many different ways you can play into that. Real quick, drop a one in the chat if you're still with me and not completely lost. Drop a two if you're just like, what are you talking about, Rippy? That way I know where you guys stand. Matt says one, Hannah says one, Kev says one. Cool, cool, cool. Glad I'm not losing nobody. Glad I'm not losing nobody. Drop a three in the chat if you're having a great weekend. Hope everybody is having a great weekend. Clay says three, Kev says three, Hannah says three. Cool, cool. I'm glad I don't want to lose you guys in here, so I try to be interactive in the chat. So we'll get back to it. You have the piece of content, you have the call to action in there, but what happens when they comment that, right? Well, this gets into my third point, and that, or maybe it's the fourth. I don't know. I'm losing track of the points I'm making here. So you have a really nice piece of content. It attracts your ideal client in. Maybe it's a real estate agent. Maybe it's in hospitality. I use those two all the time. That's just very common ones in my circle, anyways. Or it's a music artist or a business, whatever. You've attracted their attention. You've got in front of their eyeballs on their phone screen by creating organic content without sending any outreach, first. You don't have to break the barrier there, break the ice. Your organic piece of content is doing that for you when you use this method. Well, say you have that set up and you create the caption and everything, and you say, comment, let's work, uh, for more info. Well, what happens when they comment, let's work? If you've been in some of my lives, you may have heard me talk about MiniChat. MiniChat is an AI automation message system, and it is very powerful. It's a very powerful tool to use for anyone that's running a business that has anything to do with online social media. You can implement this. I think you can get started in the most basic plan, or maybe there's a free plan up to like 1,000 uses or 1,000 contacts. Very cheap service, very affordable service, and it's very beneficial. It's like having a VA in your DMs at all times, and you can set up different trigger words. So if people message you these words, or it contains that word, then it can send them more info. So for example, if someone commented tour on that, then I set up a message system in the background, and it takes time. That's a whole nother call. I have a training in the classroom under AI automation where I break it down and show you guys. Some of you guys, if you're in the live webinar, you've seen me do that with you guys. But there's so much more that you can do with that than I showed you in that. And I will be rolling something out soon, a whole breakdown masterclass, if you want to call it. It'll be free to all of you guys inside of here that's already in the community. So, but showing you guys how to set up messages with that. But with this system, you create the messages, you set up everything in the background. And then when they send you these trigger words, it sends out the info. So, for example, let me see if I can get my mini chat up and going real quick. Give me 1 second. And I'm gonna show you guys what that one looks like on the back end for when people comment tour on that. Let me see if I can find that one. I got a lot of them set up. Where's that tour content? Call DM. Okay, so let's see. Edit. Okay, I'm gonna try to share this screen with you guys. All right, drop a one in the chat if you can see my screen, you guys. Drop a one in the chat if you can see my screen for me. That way I know it's working on you guys' end. Nope. How about now? I'm still figuring out this whole school live. Like I said, I used to use Google Meet. Maybe share window. How about now? You can see it. Oh God, this is trippy. Okay, I'm gonna come back to the chat. Drop a two if you can see this AI automation right here. Drop a two. I'm just testing this to make sure you guys can see it. Drop a two, drop a two. Okay, cool, 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 cool. I see twos. So this is kind of what it looks like. Sorry, I'm a very technology savvy, if that's what you call it, but sometimes these sharing screens and stuff still get me. So someone comments on that post. Then I have this message set up. So, yo, first name, stoked to hear you're playing live shows in 2026. I want to make sure I'm the right candidate for your content needs. Let's hop on a call and discuss what it is you're looking for, along with my rates and availability this year. Can't wait to speak with you. And then this, once they click that, it takes them to Calendly where they book a call with me. And that's all running in the background. I'm not having to do any labor for that. I'm not paying any assistant or VA to handle any of that for me other than like the 11-15 bucks a month that MiniChat is, and it's sending hundreds of DMs for me a day. Um, but so then they have the opportunity to hit that and book a call, and then I have a 12-minute smart delay set up to where it's just a delay in the messages. It's as simple as it is. Whether or not they book or even click that, 12 minutes go by, and then I sent another one saying, obviously, all my work lives on social, blah, blah. Here's a direct link to my portfolio. Sorry, I post a lot. Just something personal like that. It really feels like it's, you sending the message to them. And then I drop my portfolio. So, all from attracting them in on an organic piece of content to opening the door for them to start a conversation. Like, if you're interested in wanting to work, you like this content, you've seen yourself getting value from this in some way, shape, or form. Okay, we'll comment this word if you want to take a step further, and I'll send you more info. All of that is done without going out and doing it yourself first, finding a potential client online. You're creating the content, you're creating leverage with your content, showcasing your skills. How you do that is totally up to you. I do it through a behind the scenes transitional kind of way. There's so many different ways that you can do this, whether it's showing your polished work, showing client testimonial, a talking head video, right? I mean, there's so many avenues that you can go with this. I myself just use a lot of behind the scenes transition into polished work because I've seen that work for me. You're not going to know it works for you until you put out so much content on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and then really start studying the analytics. And that's a whole nother topic too. When I started studying my analytics, I started getting these third party platforms and connecting my accounts to where I could really like get a wide view on like my analytics, what was working, what wasn't. Like I said, that's a whole nother topic, but you can really study and see, even from just looking at your view numbers, the engagement on stuff, you kind of learn and figure out what works for you. And then just kind of run with that. But this can be done on any of those types of content. This is a complete conversation that is happening without me having to do anything. You have to set this up on the front end, it runs on the back end for you. You can do this with any niche, with any style of content, but this is what I have found that works tremendously for me on just bringing in clients on a consistent basis, or even starting conversations and getting potential leads without me having to go out and doing any kind of legwork. When I was first starting out, I used to do so much outreach and like going and just scrolling for hours and be like, oh, music artist popped up on my page, I'm gonna shoot them a message, or being out and about in person networking. Like all that stuff's just as important as this, but if you're doing all of those things and you add this onto your content and structure your content in a way that it's inviting and welcoming in your potential client, your ideal client, you're going to start seeing the ball roll more and more and more clients are going to flood in. I mean, there's conversations right now going on in my DMs that I'm not like even looking like I try to keep up and check. I still get the notifications when I get messages. It's not like I'm completely MIA, but I could be MIA if I wanted to be because it's running. And it's not like every conversation is in my DMs is not running by AI. Like it's when they send these trigger words, right? And sometimes people send trigger words and they don't mean to actually be on that trigger. Like someone commented or someone said something about touring the other day, like a tour friend of mine, and they're like, "You remember that tour?" or something like that, and it triggered and it sent their automation or sent my automation to them, and I went back hours later and I they were having a full conversation with it. They didn't even realize that like it. They're like, "What are you trying to do?" And like they didn't realize, that it was AI running it. So, um, that's a system that I'm using, guys. I'm gonna get on here, stop sharing screen. All right, we should be good. That's the system that I'm using right now and have been for the last year. I do it with the creators too. Some of you guys, you might be sitting there like, damn, I've been talking to your AI bot the whole time, but it's not the case. I just use it to get those inbound leads, and then I turn them to warm leads just off of the rip, just by having that system set up. And this doesn't work by posting, just random content and seeing and trying to start conversation that way. I mean, it can with random content, but there has to be a strategy behind it. Um, if you want more in-depth, help with that, go to the classroom and hit the one-on-one coaching. This is where I build out your systems for you. I look at who you're working with, your clients, what kind of messages you're sending, and we build out the system for you. I help you directly with the content. We hop on multiple calls a week. We pretty much create content live on the call and get that systematically set up for you to where it's ready to go. You're not having to guess with any of it. Obviously, I'm giving you the plays and what I'm doing and showing you my work, but that's working for me, and it will work for you too if it's set up properly. So, if you're in a boat and you're like, I don't understand, like I understand what you're saying, Rippy, but I don't know how to implement it. Consider doing the one-on-one coaching. It's very, hands-on, or as hands-on as we can be virtually, and we go through everything together. It's a month long coaching, and then if you want to roll it over and do another month, we can do a whole 12 months if you want to, but it's month to month. That way you're not locked into anything you know too long term if you don't want to continue doing that, paying for that service. It's $777 a month, very affordable. I can 98% guarantee that you will double that in your income with doing that and working with me, but I'm not pressuring you to do it. I do not judge if you don't want to do it. I'm giving you the system so you can do this yourself right now, and start, implementing these and seeing results from yourself. You don't have to have that. You don't have to have me building it out for you. It just kind of eliminates that gray area and makes it a little bit easier when doing that. But that's what's working for me right now. It has been, and it's bringing me in, multiple clients. I think this month I've had 4 shoots, I think, and I have hit 6K, 6.5K, 7K this month. And that's all from just having clients come to me. One of those is a retainer client. One of them is kind of a mutual client that I've worked with a couple of times in the past, and two of them are fresh clients that I've never worked with a day in my life. They've just been following my content, and they told me that on the call, our first onboarding call to set up the shoot. They were like, the artist, they're like, she's been following you for about 7 months now and has been implementing, your what you do in your courses into her content, and we want to work with you. And it was they didn't do a trigger word or anything like that. They sent me like a long message, and they had been trying to work with me in the past before, but then that brought in that lead. Like I didn't have to start that conversation. And that's another 3,500. I do that shoot this week on Tuesday. And yeah, that's another 3,500 from that gig. So it's like you don't have to go out and do all of these shoots. uh, Check out the pricing, classes and courses too. But you don't have to work with 30 different people, 20 different people a month to hit your income goals. By setting up these systems and drawing in the clients and upping your rates and being confident in pitching your rates and charging more, you can turn this into a full-time thing, even if you are in year one, or maybe you're in year 10, 15, and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Listen to me, guys, because I'm giving you guys real information that is working for me, and if it'll work for me, it'll work for you. I'm no more special than the next videographer, content creator in line. I've just been at this and stayed consistent with it and made this my entire life. Like, I have a couple close friends. I have a girlfriend. I have, close family members and stuff. But I eat, sleep, breathe, and shit this stuff. And I know I figured out what works and what doesn't, and still learning. I haven't mastered it by any means, but I know this is working for me. It's helped me scale to over six figures a year as a freelance videographer and content creator. And I know that if you guys implement what I'm, telling you guys, what I'm doing for myself, I know you guys can get there too, or even, 50K a year from it. Even if you hit that as a content creator, that's amazing. Even if you make $1,000 this year from it, you're doing better than a lot of people, because a lot of people quit before things really get to picking up and start turning into sustainability. But that is how I'm attracting clients without doing any cold outreach. It's how you guys can do the same. I hope you found value in it. I'm gonna open up these last few minutes for any questions. If you have any questions in the comments, put them away, fire them away in the chat. I'll be answering those for the next few minutes. Wondering when I would be able to chat fully for that recent challenge prize since I completed. I'll get with you this week, bro. I'll get with you this week. I seen you responding every day. I did my research and checked the Instagram, made sure, and shout out to you, bro. You were really grinding. Keep that up. Just because there's not an active challenge going right now doesn't mean you can't still implement the stuff. So yeah, I'll get with you probably tomorrow, Matt. I'll hit you up in here. I'll shoot you a message and we'll get that set up. So Nate, yes, we got your onboarding call tomorrow. Can't wait to talk that up with you tomorrow and get the ball rolling for you. When will the next challenge be? I'm not 100% sure yet. I like to do them when I have open time. So not fully open, because I'm never fully open, but I like to do it when the schedule is kind of clear. That way I can really be involved with it and really be checking in. Probably, I'm not going to do it this week because I don't have one prepped. Probably next week. I'll probably drop it on next Monday. We'll bank for that. We'll bank for that next Monday. The next challenge will be, but that doesn't mean you can't go through and do that challenge, already. That was a couple weeks ago or this past week, whatever, but you can go through and do the stuff anyways and still comment, still check in. No one's telling you can't do that, and I'll see the comments, so I'll at least know you're active with that. So any other questions tonight, you guys? Hope everybody's ready for a new week. I know it's January's flying by. We're already more than halfway through it. I feel like the year just started. That's how the whole year is gonna go. Everyone's doing the 2016 challenge. Um, Actually, let's do that. Let's do that for just the people in here, because everyone else. I'm not gonna make a post about it, but after this call, go in the chat and discussion section and make an entry with 2016 challenge. I want to see you guys in 2016, what you guys were doing. If you couple in here that's in here tonight, you seven, if y'all could drop that in, maybe people will pick up with it and then do it. I did mine on Instagram. But what I was sorry, complete squirrel moment. What I was getting at is the time is flying. This month's already almost over. We'll be in February. It'll be June before we know it, and then we'll be rolling into 2027. So um, that sounds futuristic as hell. 2027. and we don't have flying cars here yet. That's crazy. 2026 or 2016 was weird, bro. I still want to see the pics. I still want to see the pics. Y'all drop them in there. Any final questions before we get off here? I'm about to hop off here. I think I'm skipping cooking tonight. I think I'm going down the road and getting me some Chipotle. And then it's TikTok shop video time. The stuff never ends, creating never ends. If you really truly want to be successful in this and excel, you have to be proactive. I mean, when you think you're putting in enough effort and work, it's like someone's working harder. And I think by doing TikTok shop videos for the next 2 hours after this, after I eat dinner, that I'm really grinding, but there's someone else out there that's working even harder. So it's like you gotta have a balance, but you also have to really and truly just go balls to the wall at this as a freelance creator. Like no one's gonna do it for us. This might sound nerdy. I got my outfit and my gym outfit for tomorrow laid out already. Like I'm amped up. Like that way, that's one less thing I gotta think about, and I can just go to the gym in the morning, get straight to working. I got a call with Nate. I got a client call. Got to prep for the shoot on Tuesday. So it's you really got to be after this stuff. So I reinstalled TikTok, intrigued to try Shop. I definitely recommend it. There's an insane opportunity on TikTok Shop for the everyday creator, the everyday person, and people are really winning on TikTok Shop right now. Um, my biggest month on there was upwards of 10K. People are making 100K in a month, like, and that's freaking mind boggling. It's just like random people are doing this. So definitely recommend getting on there. I know last time I checked, it was like 1,000 follower threshold that you had to have in order to be able to post shop. They're changing their stuff, frequently. Maybe it's less than that now. I don't know. I had like maybe 3,000 followers when I got started, and I still have like barely 5,000, I think, or like I don't know. It's nothing crazy. 333 right now with my like, comment, and DMs. That's a really good sign. And I get on my page and client of mine right now, Austin Williams. These are photo shoot we did. MF didn't tag me though. I'm gonna have to get on him about that one. But that's good. I was showing y'all something, and then it's my actual client work right here. So it builds up. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Get on TikTok Shop. Um, that's what I was doing, was checking my followers. Complete squirrel moment. My mind's on dinner and then TikTok Shop. But that's all for tonight, guys. How to turn your content into a repeatable system to bring you in leads so you don't have to yourself. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be talking to some of you guys on your one-on-one calls this week. And the rest of you, you can book a call at any point in time. But hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.